Astros.
Houston Astros. It's almost trade time, so we're gonna break down only pitching targets, and we're gonna give you why we're only focusing on pitching targets.
We believe, this is my belief, and I think Nick agrees with me, that when you're bringing Jordan and Altuve back this close to the trade deadline, and possibly even Brantley, it almost diminishes like your need to go get a bat in the trade deadline. You know what I mean? I feel that way a little bit because it feels like you're getting two all-stars back at the deadline because they're coming back. So considering that we've been giving up a ton of runs, but we've still been able to score runs, I think pitching is more of an importance to me at this point, especially in a playoff series where a pitcher might be going twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a situation where you might have to end up with Bielek making two starts in a playoff series. Like, that does not make me feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of forget about the injuries of the pitchers because we've been monitoring so much of Altuve, Alvarez, Brantley, and all that. But we lost Lance, we lost Luis,
Mm-hmm.
two major pieces in your rotation, and you relied heavily on Javier, Hunter, JP's amazing, Belak's doing his thing. So I agree that getting Altuve and Alvarez back, which have only played 17 games together this season so far, it feels like all eyes should now definitely be on pitching. We could start, I guess, the ones we've been linked to. You said for the longest has been the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody believes they're going to be sellers, and they're kind of leaning every single day as it goes around as more and more sellers. So they have
I
about
think the first name we were linked to was Giolito.
yes,
Because like I feel like they were ready to move off of him anyway. He's an easy get, and he could probably help a lot of rotations. I have a little bit of like issue. I don't have an issue with Giolito. I just don't necessarily never wanted you, only because I realize what we've done to you.
yeah,
And for some reason, I can't get that out of my mind. I could be wrong, but given the choice between him and Dylan Cease, I'm going to take Dylan Cease because I've seen you dominate our lineup this year. And I think you said it brilliantly on the video that you put up before about Dylan Cease. It's like you have a 5-5 record with a 3.5 ERA on a team that scores less runs than us, is way worse than us, and you're still able to do that well. So you should be perfectly fine. Like, he's the perfect number 2 for us, I feel like. Dylan
yeah,
Cease. And he's
yeah,
not a rental like Giolito.
yeah. I mean, Dana did not hide it when he said that his number one choice is Dylan Cease. Now, is he using that as a smokescreen to go get a rental and drive those numbers down? Is he just being like, hey, this is who I want? What do you want? And let's get this deal done? Because there are talks that the White Sox have been flip flopping. Oh, we're going to trade him. We're not going to trade him. We're going to trade him. We're not going to trade him. And so it could be that also, but we agree on it. If I can have you for multiple years,
Mm-hmm.
a 1-2 punch of Framber and Cease is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well, not only
being
that, is if you really think about it, you put Cease in there with Christian. Hunter, he's a solidified starter now. I feel like JP France can't be nothing other than a starter for us. And you consider the fact you have Urquidy coming back for the rest of this year. At some point, Lance is going to be back. Luis can, like, I can look at you get Dylan Cease and we move forward for the next 2-3 years doing that 6-man rotation. And based on the way our bullpen performed last year when we did it in comparison to this year when we're doing the 5-man rotation, I prefer the 6 going forward.
yeah, it rests your guys more. Their arms seem to be more fresh, and we've seen it from last year to this year. The 6 to the 5, it has taken a toll on this bullpen, on the starters, and everything else. I mean, Dylan Cease, though, you do get him. He is going to cost a pretty penny from what we've heard. But it seems like the Astros are not worried about their future as of right now. They're in win now mode.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of, vets and Altuve and Bregman. You have a lot of guys in their prime and Jordan and Tucker. And you have a lot of young guys that are coming up promising. Chaz, Pena, um, even some no names like Jolks that came in. So you have
Madrid.
Madris. Yanir's coming in playing well. So you have a mixing pot of all that. So it's kind of like I'll risk some of my farm and
Well, to your point, like it's like a blessing in disguise that you have what we would consider these underdog guys doing really well, because like that might be the guy. Like they may want a Jokes, they may want a like a Corey Lee or somebody like that.
yeah,
So like you I feel like you can. This is the time that you can make that move. You know what I mean? So do it.
yeah. Um, so of course that Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito, I guess those would be the main prize, and then a consolation prize is what we're looking at.
Unfortunately, but that's only because we prefer Cease. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But to your point a minute ago, I think that the White Sox are conflicted. Like, I don't really think they know what they want to do, because there's enough young talent on that White Sox team where they could think is like, we're not far from being competitive. So, like, why give away an ace? So I think there might be, like, to get Dylan Cease is going to cost probably a little bit more than we even realize, because not only are you doing it to compensate them for the trade, but you're going to probably have to talk them into it a little bit.
yeah. And so looking at that, a lot of people on the outside looking in believe that's going to be a very hard trade to come upon because of the asking price that is quote unquote high and ridiculous at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Then we look at it. I guess we can move on to two of the older guys in the mix, and one of them, of course, played for us in the New York Mets. They've been atrocious this season, all over the place. Spent a lot of money. They of course swayed Justin Verlander over there. Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. It's not who we want.
I would be interested in Scherzer. Like, I
Yeah,
will take a flyer on what it would cost. No disrespect to Justin Verlander, I appreciate you for everything you did, but I believe that you're done. Like, you didn't look good in the playoffs last year. You haven't looked good this year. I think that we overworked your arm after that Tommy John, and I don't know if you could ever go back to what you were, and I'm not really prepared to try to find out.
now, their owner did say that he would eat majority of the contracts for both of them. So if you didn't have
Does
to
that
give
mean
up,
that you want higher compensation for him because you're eating the money, or is
yes,
it
but
fair?
but also looking at we'll focus on one at first. So Scherzer, I believe, has a player's option, and then he's off your books after that in 2024.
So he'll pitch the rest of this year, and he has an option to come back next year.
Yeah,
Verlander is locked in. I know you said one at a time. I'm gonna take Scherzer for all the reasons. Like,
yeah,
I think that there's it's more likely that you snap out of your funk.
yeah,
There's also a chance that if you don't, I can get out of this deal. Like, there's
yeah.
no getting out of the other one. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm willing. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to take a flyer on Scherzer because there's something not right about him, I think, and I think that he could turn it on like that. And sometimes that change of scenery will do it for him.
And you think about it, he's the number one pretty much for the Mets right now. You
Mm-hmm.
moving him behind Framber, and
Question: if
well,
Scherzer comes, do I put him in front of Framber?
well, that's the thing though. If he proves that he's that guy, which we know he can be, may the best man lead us into the thing. It was
Yeah.
like when we had Verlander here. Now, if not, hey, if you've taken a small step back, hey, don't worry about it. Framber got it. He's the workhorse. You're gonna go right there behind him, and then Javier right there. And so it's kind of like you can play it either or with how it is, because we've always seen it when there's certain players that they will get out of that environment that they're
Mm-hmm.
in and that situation, and they amp it up. They're like, oh, okay, now I'm playing for something. Now I'm on a championship. Now I have a chance at this. And we've seen Max Scherzer be that guy. I mean, he did it against us. So like that's the thing.
I honest to God didn't think that he wanted Verlander to come to that team, and it messed with
Yeah.
his mental.
I mean, they kind of strayed away and did their own thing, and then they kind of made this forced story of like here you go, best friend.
I would take a flyer on Verlander, Scherzer. If it's not going to
Yeah.
cost me a lot, I would really like him because he's a true ace. He's an innings eater. He's a workhorse, and he's what I want. Like he's proven to me, so I'm willing to go into the playoffs with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we're cool with Scherzer. If let me ask this: would you eat more of the contract this year since you
To
have the
give up
money
less,
anyway and give up less?
think that would be my first choice.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't have to give up much of your farm, which we already know, we're not the best, but we're not the worst. We have a depleted farm, quote unquote. So eat more of the money this year. I mean, we're already paying Lance over there just to do nothing. It's like
It's
that's bad.
true. You know what I mean?
And I think that's another thing that comes with the Verlander thing, though. I can't have you struggling on my books or hurt, and then I have Lance also, and we don't know when we're getting Luis back. That's 3 pitchers right there. And so I agree with that. I mean, Verlander, appreciate everything you did. That ship has sailed. Unless you're like a tie-in package with Scherzer, and I get you like for like
No,
nothing, then I
I was
guess.
about to say that's the only scenario in which I would take Verlander back is if we're really giving up nothing.
Yeah, like if it's like, hey, 2-for-1 deal, but you're gonna pay all of Scherzer's contract.
No, like 2-for-1 for Verlander, and the 2 are some stupid ass like I'll give you like I'll give you like Jake Myers and Hensley or something or Gray Kessinger,
I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
and we'll eat the money.
Yeah, we'll eat the
And you know
money.
what I
I'm
mean?
cool with that.
Only because I know that you're probably not even going to get Luis Garcia back next year. So at
Yeah.
least I'll have Verlander next year. And who's to say that Verlander coming back won't do something for him?
I mean, that's the thing. You could see his demeanor over there as compared to here.
It
Totally
just
different.
look what he's doing over there looks terrible, bro. It looks like he's trying to eat spaghetti with a spoon. It's like
Yeah,
this is not working. Like switch your
yeah.
shit up.
But
But I
then
also
again,
know that he was so successful here blowing 190, 98, I mean 98, 99 mile an hour fastballs by people. And it's like, is that still there? That's what I question.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing I think with our scouts and everything else. Watching their tape, does he still have it? Is there anything left in that tank? And if
And
there's
who's
not,
to say that him working with Maldi again is not going to help him?
true, because you know how much he loved Maldi. As
Yes,
much
sir.
as Astros fans complain about Maldi, they just hit a home run. The guy knows how to take care of his pitchers.
That he
Um,
does.
all right, so out for the Mets, we'll go into the Cubs. Marcus Strowman.
I think Marcus Strowman is a very realistic player for the Astros to get because I think the Cubs know he's not going back. And they're trying to stockpile talent anyway. So I think that there's a relatively like fair package that we could put together to get him. I think.
I mean, he has a career high ERA or career ERA of 2.88, which is really good.
Yeah. He
Um,
was a little bit streaky this year to me though, but
yeah,
I'll still take it.
yeah. I mean, what did they sell it? They say he would be a jolt in the arm for the Astros, is what they're saying. I mean, he has a player's option of 21 million, which everybody expects him to opt out of it anyway. So it's a quote unquote rental. But I mean, the way that it's looking, I mean, if you miss out on Cease because they're not trading, you miss out on Lucas Giolito because he's too expensive. You don't want Scherzer doesn't want to waive his no trade clause. You don't want Verlander. It's not a bad consolation prize at all.
At all. But also realize it's truly a rental. Because I don't
Yeah,
he would have to do exceptionally well for us to bring him back and pay him what he expects to get.
as a number 2.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like we're gonna have to get what you can get from him now. So that's the scary part of that situation. But I also will take it.
For me also, and it comes into we always talk about baseball culture of you can see how this team's made up of.
Mm-hmm.
And you, especially our pitchers, you look at Framber, Javier, Hector Neris, Jose Abreu, Montero. All these guys are just very Latin American, nucleus, and everything else. So it might actually be a bonus for him if he comes in, enjoys it, enjoys the feel of it.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, but
but
that
the
also,
money's
and
still
I
there.
respectfully say this, I was like bullshit when it comes to my money. Because, like, if he just say, for instance, he comes to Houston and he does really well, we make a good playoff run, which we probably will, he's going to want to get paid. And I just don't, like you said earlier, like, you're already paying Luis to do nothing. Garcia's under contract. So, like, I
Yeah.
don't see them going to pay another pitcher big money. That's why it's a little bit imperative to me to bring somebody in who's got years on a deal.
But if we just said it though too, if you have Lance out, Luis out, you may have to. Hey, I'll give you a 1 year, bro.
Yeah, but
Or
if you got to
but
think about it, if you're Strowman in the prime of your career, and
no, I know, but I mean also like
I think the next person you're going to bring it up will fit into our rotation seamlessly, like our
yeah,
our pitch.
I think I just
So
really want Strowman. That's why I was trying to talk myself into it. But we'll move on to and this one honestly, if they're sellers, if the Detroit Tigers are sellers, then honestly, Eduardo Rodriguez is probably going to be our best bet as a trade piece.
I'm going to tell you why I think that he'll be one of the guys they aggressively go after. Is because I think he fits the team. I think that he will cost like a reasonable amount because that team sucks so bad they're going to take what they can get. Two, that team is loaded down with relief pitchers that they're also shopping. So there's a really good chance that you can kill a bunch of birds with one stone in that trade. And that's kind of important to me too.
We do need relief. We need some help in the bullpen because they're gassed. Not that I mean, and we have a few people that have been pitching a little suspect of pitching. So Eduardo Rodriguez though, and it makes it fun too because we've heard the echoes and the rumors of Dusty's last year, AJ coming back. Why not just
Mm-hmm.
bring Eduardo in? He's 30 years old, lefty, a lefty for you. I mean, the dude has been pretty stellar as a starter. I mean,
You got a finger injury though. That's what's scary.
yeah.
Let me
It,
ask you this: if you bring in another lefty like that, does that automatically mean he can't be the second pitcher in rotation? He has to be. You have to keep Christian between him and Fromber.
ooh, I'd say yes, but I'm thinking
Or is it one of those things where like you face a lineup that's lefty dominant, so you're okay going lefty lefty?
that's what I kind of feel like I am. And I think for Christian's help, I think it would help him to go back to three.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
My thing is I know Christian is good. The one thing Christian can't do though is give you a lot of innings. Like I
Yeah.
always feel like if he can give me 5, then I'm good because if he probably knows he's only going 5, he's not going to give up much. I told you a long time ago, I feel like he got stuck in his head thinking he has to go 8, and it's not what he's comfortable doing. But I want Eduardo. I think I've been telling you that for a long time. I was like, I think that he's like easily accessible to us. We can get him. He'll help us. I like it. Strowman and Eduardo are my 1 and 2. I mean, other than Cease.
If you can get 2 of these realistic, would you
Ooh,
go for it?
greedy.
Would you be greedy if you could? If one of them, like let's say Eduardo was like cheap, like you didn't have to give up much, and then
Okay.
and then you were like, all right, now I'm gonna go get another one, like a
Would
Scherzer or a
would it be
Strowman.
one of those deals where you could get Scherzer at a fair price but eat the money?
Yeah,
Like take the money on, but you end up with both of them. I would do it because I'm gonna tell you why. Because it gives me 5 pitchers in a starting rotation. JP France, Renel Blanco, Brandon Bielek. They all get moved to the bullpen as long relievers if needed. That puts Mouton and Seth Martinez back in their natural position of 1 inning pitcher, and it kind of kills a lot of birds with 1 stone. And then probably get off of a lot of that shit at the end of this year if Scherzer don't come back and still have your team intact as far as the pitchers.
yeah. And then you get to play with money also of all right, who we want in free agency.
Yeah.
So I kind of like I think you could do a Rodriguez and Scherzer. Like I think that's reasonable of pricing wise. I mean, you definitely can't do a Dylan Cease and then go get another one. That's not gonna happen.
The reason that I feel like like that whole trade for pitcher, like multiple pitchers from Detroit is possible is because I've heard the Tigers say they have like 3 really good relievers, 2 righties and a lefty that they're on the block.
Yeah, they're trying to fully rebuild.
So you dangle a starter that we want in front of the Astros and a lefty reliever. It's like, come on, Dana, see what you can do, bro. See what you can do, because that team needs talent so badly. I think that you wouldn't have to give up players that we want.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's I'm hyped for it. We'll throw in a bonus one. It was an article that I read. And of course, everybody's in the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes. Are they selling? Are they going to keep him? And so I was reading up on it, what it would take for us to even get Shohei Ohtani.
All right.
And the 4 main pieces of the trade, and these are the 4 like main names that you'll know of, is Hunter Brown, of course.
Okay.
Give him a pitcher to replace their pitcher. Yanair Diaz, you give him a future contributor. Misal Tamarez, right-hand pitcher. And then you give him Pedro Leon, the outfielder.
I would do it in a heartbeat. Only if I knew he was staying.
Yeah.
Like if you sign an extension, I'll make that trade.
So he's like, you call him up and they're like, this is what we're offering you. And they're like, it's a deal. And you're like, all right, but only if he resigns and he wants like a 6-year deal. You doing?
I was about to say, I won't give you a 10-year deal. You'll sign a 6-year extension and I'll make that trade in a heartbeat.
That would
I'll pick you up from the airport and show you where all the good Chinese restaurants are, bro. For real.
How many people would this city would go? The MLB, everything would go ridiculously crazy on how much hate they would get.
I'd love it.
It would be amazing. Now, Astro fans, that may not happen at all because they may not even trade him. Realistically, if they do trade him and it's not to us, I hope he gets out of our division, just goes somewhere else.
I was going to say, they'll be dumb as hell if they trade him to somebody in their own division, especially a team they already can't beat with him. So why would you trade him here?
Yeah, that's
their fans would kill their GM if they traded him over here.
That would be funny though. And you get Hunter Brown though; he's a dog, man. Diaz is a dog too.
Well, that's what makes me nervous. The Yanair Diaz don't make me nervous. It's the Hunter Brown, because I look at Hunter Brown as like easily 10, 12-year starter there.
I mean,
I see it.
We saw it last year. We see it this year, and this isn't a year where he's had to step up and be like, "Hey, dude, I need you. Like, go in there."
Let me ask you this: say he's here for his whole career. Do you ever see a point where Hunter Brown is the ace of the staff? Like, you ever think he could get to that point where it's like, you are the ace of the Houston Astros staff?
I think he could.
I think he could too. I really do.
There's a part of me that I feel like him and Yanair are gonna at some point be that connection.
Well, they're like the next wave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
I like it.
That's kind of why I feel like, as much as I would love Ohtani on the Astros, it would be amazing. I'd probably cry, but that 1-2 punch is what would hurt, because but we can always find a catcher. We found Maldonado. Hey.
Well, see, like, I need to see. I love what Yanair's doing.
Yeah,
I absolutely love what he's doing, but I also want to see you do it for a duration of time, and I also like to see you do it with expectation. Like, what do you perform like that if Maldonado's not on the team and you know you're the everyday catcher?
Yeah.
If you can do that, then I'll be sold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, as much as I don't want to get rid of Yanair, and I agree with you, like, he could be the guy going forward, I still got to see it.
Yeah. All right, so we're all in on pretty much any one of these guys except for Justin Verlander.
Pretty much.
Unless he was just like a throw-in chip, like, here you go, bro.
I mean, I also wanted Shane Bieber, but he's on the 60-day L, so he's not getting traded. Whatever. I also heard about Blake from San Diego maybe on the block, which I'm not sold that I want him either. Blake Snell.
Yeah, I don't think I want him either. He struggled.
Well, we definitely need a pitcher, though. And we said it multiple times on multiple videos. for multiple days. Is we're used to shopping at the top when it comes to going to get pitching help. So that's what we want to do.
Dylan Cease, cream of the crop, and then it kind of just is a section there of Reynolds, and then it's Verlander.
It's always like my grandma used to say when she'd send you to the store. She's like, don't come back with anything other than craft singles and craft males. She's like, don't you bring me that generic shit. And I was like, that's how we feel about pitching. Don't bring no generic shit.
Mm-hmm.
Tuck, did you hit 2? Nope.
Foul ball. All right, well, we're hyped. Hopefully we wake up and we get some news. Dana, please don't wait until trade deadline right at the end of it. You got Dodgers making trades, Braves making trades. Luckily, they're all in the NL, so it's over there. But for sure, I would like some type of trade, a big pitcher, a few pitchers, however you want to do it, fill it in.
Do it. And look, people, y'all can all help contribute. Very, very soon, we're about to unleash some Astros merch. Some very creative things that we're working on. So keep your eye out for that because some of that shit is hilariously funny and dope. And it's for men, women, and children. And we'd appreciate it if you buy it.
For sure. All right, Houston. Y'all make sure y'all stay hydrated out there. It's very hot here, man. Hopefully, Astros keep it up, get closer to that first place, which we've been wanting for the longest. Made to this point, though, like, subscribe to the network, Bayou City Boys. We have you covered on all Houston sports. Rockets, Astros, Texans, of course. Rockets kind of on the down. Texans videos about to pop up. Astros are going to be going all over, all the way to October.
Word.
Man, y'all show us some love. You got questions, ask them in the comments. We'll read them on the next one, or if they're really good, we'll do a video for y'all. I think that's it. We are out of here, Houston. Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.